Now we're going to kick off with the first part of the conversation. Let's have the first part of the panel discussion about the state of the Nigeria economy and where we are at the moment. Let's bring you on the screen now, and you see a few information about where we are at the moment. Some of these are already no longer news. They're on the street as we speak. The GDP contracted, average about 2.1% so far in the year. Inflation heading towards 19%. Unemployment rate also flirting with 14% figure as we speak. At 13.9%, I beg your pardon. I look at 18.48%, that's quite the actual figure, almost 19%. And if you look at the country's exchange rate, we're now at the interbank FX market, OTC, about 305. Yesterday, that figure on the street went well above, close to 500 naira. So we have quite an issue on our hands here. But let's get the panelists to start chewing this over and get some comments from our special guests. Let's kick things off with Bismarck Rewane, who is the Chief Executive Officer at Financial Derivatives. Good morning, and thank you, gentlemen, for coming.
Good morning.
We appreciate it.
Good morning.
Bismarck, give us about 2 minutes, your view about where we are at the moment, the state of the economy.
What we know and what we do not know. What we know is that we are in a recession. What we know is that underemployment and unemployment put together is about 34%. What we know that inflation is 18.4%. What we do know is that the misery index is higher than 43% when you put the two together. Basically, actually 52%. So 52% of Nigerians are miserable. What we do know is that the exchange rate divergence between the parallel and the official rate is something like almost 200 naira, which is about 35% of the value of the currency. What we do know is that the economy contracted and we need a stimulus to get it out. So the question is, what are the matters arising? What do we do in this situation? Nigerians know the problem, they feel it. They want to know how long are they going to be in this and when is recovery going to be felt? Not when it's going to be announced, but when it's going to be felt by the ordinary man on the street.
Thank you. The next 1.5 hours is more about matters arising. Now, the first member of the Chevening Alumni Association, Wole Obayobi from KPMG. Talk to us about where we are. 1 minute, a quick rundown of where you think the economy is right now. Do you have anything significantly different, or you're adding to what Bismarck Rewane has said?
Well, I've just had a point from the point of view of investment in the country. And the truth really today is that there is no significant activity in that sector, whether it's foreign investment flow or from point of view of domestic investment, because most investments are actually driven by FX, whether it's to import raw materials or to import plant and machinery, and that source really has dried up. It's not available in the country. And if we add to that, even Nigerians in diaspora, they don't have the confidence also in the economy as well, to even be able to send money through official channels into the country. So it's not just a question of foreign investors are not coming, but even our own very people, Nigerians, as patriotic as they are not flowing money through official channels into the country because they lack confidence in the economy.
Mr. Shoaibu Idris, you're a management consultant, and of course you speak to companies, industries, manufacturers on the ground all the time, those who need advice on how they should go on with business and their lives. What are you hearing as far as where we are at the state of the economy?
I think the two gentlemen that have spoken have been quite spot on. The only addition is probably we will see one fundamental issue that has come out in recent times is the fact that peace is gradually coming back to the country. The Boko Haram insurgents is being contained, and then it appears too that the Niger Delta militancy is somewhat being contained. So we could say that that aspect of attraction or factors that could attract foreign investment or even domestic investment are properly being addressed for now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Idris, for your comments. Let's cross over to our Abuja studios and talk to Dr. Adeniyi. What are your views as far as the economy is concerned? You're a professor. You deal with students on a daily basis. So what are the students telling you about the state of the economy?
Yeah, many thanks for having me. The first thing to say is that, as is widely acclaimed, Nigeria's economy is in recession. And when you're in recession, that means you're entrapped. All you need to do is to come up with policies that will prepare you out of that doldrum. From what I've seen in the 2017 budget, it's not a bad idea in terms of concept, in terms of a promise, and in terms of its determination, or the determination of Nigerian leaders to take us out of this doldrum. But my fear is policy somersault. We've come up with a budget, good budget, like all previous Nigerian budget, whether military or civilian, But what is important is for us to implement the budget to the letter, taking for granted that the National Assembly is going to vet it and eventually approve it. How are we going to go about implementing it? There has to be sincerity, there has to be commitment to implementation.
Thank you, Mr. Adeniyi. There, you haven't really answered the question, but I'm going to ask you again later on the program. What you're hearing from the universities, you have the youths there and all others who are part of that very huge and increasing unemployment, underemployed in Nigeria, and looking at the future. We'll talk about that later on the program. But let's spend 1 minute quickly to cross over to Edinburgh in the UK. We have Professor Kenneth Amaechi to talk to us on this. He's the Director of Sustainable Business Initiative and a visiting professor of strategy at the Lagos Business School. If he talks to us for about 1 minute, what does he think about where the state of Nigeria economy really is now, looking in from the outside? Good morning.
Good morning, and happy to be here. Looking at the Nigerian economy and society in general, what I feel is some sort of concern about the direction of the country. But it's also good to see that those in charge are taking on board some of these concerns. Looking at the budget where it was last year, so the 2016 budget was submitted to the National Assembly about this time last year, and it took about 5 to 6 months to get it approved. And the current budget has been around for nearly 7 months. So I think that there are a lot of lessons to be learned. And it seems that the country at the moment is waiting for some of the changes promised and as well as the new direction. And I see a lot of tension, apprehension, but I think with the right policies, we'll be able to get there.
Okay, thank you very much. Professor Amaechi, stick around. You'll be part of the program for the next 1.5 hours. Of course, you did a lot of lessons from there. If you lose about 2 trillion naira of revenue in a single year, that's a lot of hard lessons. But we'll get about 30 seconds. Femi Awoyemi, who is one of the special guests, will give us about 30 seconds here. What's the position of the market so far in 2016? Femi Awoyemi, talk to us on this.
Well, to pick up from what Bismarck has given us in guidance, my simple thing is that you need oil money to diversify from oil. And the budget 2017, as you say, appears to also be public sector focused. And so we will basically see more of numbers, and I'm sure that hopefully in this conversation we can have some robust ideas around what really the market needs right now.
Okay, thank you very much, Femi Awoyemi, CEO at ProShare Nigeria.